The best Sony cameras to buy going into 2026. So, I have several different categories, including the best for budget, best full frame camera overall, and balls to the walls, rip your wallet, rip your marriage, the best camera of all time. My name is Jason Vong. Let's get started.
The best entry-level camera.
Just hear me out. Whether you're looking for the best budget photo camera or the best budget content creation camera, a la TikTok, the one camera I would recommend the most in this category is the Sony ZV-E10 Mark I. This is a 24 megapixel APS-C crop sensor camera that is retail for $800 body only, but on holiday you can save around $100. Now it may sound a little expensive, but hear me out. This is the most affordable interchangeable lens camera system that can take the same picture quality as this $1,600 camera here. The only big differences lie in the overall user experience, like an older menu system, lower screen quality, not having the latest autofocus, and shorter battery life. But I promise you, the picture quality is going to be the same. Just invest in some good lenses and the end results will be indistinguishable. Plus, it does come in either white or black. For video, you're getting 4K up to 30 frames per second, which is really good, but you can largely get by with 1080p HD if you're filming videos for social media. And in 1080p HD, you can shoot the whole shebang, 24, 30, 60, and 120 frames per second. Pair it up with one of these $180 a pop Viltrox lenses, and you can get a really good compact setup for just around $1,000. This lens here is good for everyday photography, and this one is good for social media videos. Now I often get comments saying, $1,000 is not budget, you've lost touch, buddy.
Yeah!
But hey, listen, Michael, if you're looking to spend just under $500 for a camera, you're not gonna get anything good in the current market right now unless you shop old and used and are okay with zero warranty, which can work if you do proper research. However, a lot of us camera tubers would honestly just tell any beginners to just save another $500 to get this instead, and another $500 to spend on additional lenses and accessories. And the more you save, the better of a camera and experience you would get. So let's take a look at what some of those other options are, shall we?
The best budget full frame.
With some hesitation. For $1,000 more, you could get the full frame A7 Mark III, which retails for around $2,000, but the holiday pricing will bring it down closer to about $1,700. Now this is everything the ZV-E10 is, but it has a larger sensor, which means better low light performance and more background blur. You also get a better grip, longer shoot time per battery, 2 card slots for backup recording, and honestly, just more buttons to push. But I am recommending this with some hesitation due to the fact that just because it's a full frame camera doesn't mean we're getting the best experience in 2026. Now, don't get me wrong, the A7 Mark III is a phenomenal camera if you already own it, or you can score for an even lower price. However, for the same dollar amount when shopping for something brand new, I would actually go for this camera right here that isn't even a full frame.
The best value and the Vong's top choice.
Now when I say best value, I don't mean budget and I don't mean cheap. Rather, it is the amount of features you're getting for the price you're paying for. Remember this $1,600 camera right here? This is the A6700, and in my opinion, this is the best APS-C hybrid photo video camera for both beginners and pros, going on for 3 years in a row now. Biggest reason why? In-body image stabilization. IBIS. While it's not a necessity for photography, it is 1000% a necessity for videography. Now, most people aren't going to bother with using a tripod or a gimbal. They would just film videos handheld. So without in-body image stabilization, you would get very shaky footage. But with in-body image stabilization, you would get very stable footage. Duh. Now, the ZV-E10 Mark II would be the runner-up in this category, but honestly, paying $500 more for in-body image stabilization will save you a lot of trouble in the long run, and well worth it in my opinion. Because there are a ton of affordable lenses out there in the market right now, like these Viltrox lenses, or my high-quality favorites, the Sigma Zooms. But All of these great lenses unfortunately lack built-in stabilization, so it's better to just have a camera with in-body image stabilization so you can use any lenses without worrying about shaky footage. I mean, just look at this. Just look at how compact this setup is right here. Mwah! I love it.
Calm down, Jason.
Second biggest reason, better video features. So in addition to it being an amazing stills camera, for video, we're unlocking 4K 60 and 4K 120 frames per second, which also looks sharper and crisper. We're also getting 10-bit 422 S-Log3 and S-Cinetone if you want to get into cinematic filmmaking and color grading. And for these reasons alone, I truly believe the A6700, a 26 megapixel crop sensor APS-C camera, actually beats out full-frame cameras like the A7 Mark III, A7 Mark IV, and the A7C Mark II, as it offers better video features. You know, as a matter of fact, I prefer this over the FX30, which that is a dedicated cinema camera with a built-in fan, because of the hybrid functionality of the A6700, especially if you do at least 50-50 photography videography with more emphasis on photography. So this is my top pick for everybody, but it's not my favorite camera. Objectively, the A6700 is a great camera. It's super stacked. Perhaps I would rank this as my third favorite camera of all time. But keep on watching to find out what my top two are.
The high-resolution camera you need to avoid.
Okay, so let's properly move on to full-frame camera recommendations. Now, high-resolution cameras are great because you can crop in a ton and still retain a lot of the resolution in your photos. You get to have that mentality of shoot first, frame later, which is perfect for landscape and cityscapes because we can zoom in and see all the little details in the distance. Plus, it's great for portraits too to see all of your wife's pores.
Or your husband's nose hair.
And you can easily tell if the camera is high-res or not by simply looking out for the red R in its name. And there are only a handful of 61 megapixel cameras Sony is currently offering, but there is one to absolutely avoid: the Sony A7R Mark IV. This camera still uses the same old Sony menu, and that alone shows how outdated the internal software is. I mean, it's not a bad camera in terms of producing results, but for the price you're paying for, the overall experience would not be worth it at all. For $500 more, we would get a better menu system, better autofocus, especially the new AI ones, better phone compatibility for monitoring, and better video features. And these would be the two high-resolution cameras I would highly recommend: the A7CR and the A7R Mark V. Get the A7CR, obviously, if you want that compactness, and it can do nearly everything the A7R Mark V can do. But what the A7R Mark V has over the compact A7CR is the dual card slots, which pros really love, and obviously because it's a bigger camera, you get a bigger and better grip. And the A7R Mark V can shoot 8K, living up to its high-resolution title.
The best compact EDC full-frame camera
With a caveat. The other R camera is the RX1R Mark III, a $5,100 camera, which also so happens to be the lightest and the most compact full-frame camera with all of Sony's latest and greatest technology. But it's not a very popular camera. It has a ton of online discourse around it, and I will admit I was a little iffy about it at first when it first came out. But after playing around with it for about a month, I kinda like it a lot. And I think I'll be picking one up myself when I see some good discounts around it. But cents and cents wise, for more than half the cost, the best compact full frame camera objectively for a majority of the people out there is going to be the A7C Mark II. It is a little bigger and heavier than the RX1R Mark III, but honestly it's not by much, and it's still very compact when paired with the right lenses. And that's the beauty of this compact camera. Unlike the RX1R Mark III, you can actually take out the lens on this one, while on the A7C Mark II, you can actually change out lenses. And my favorites being the Sony 24 and 40G primes and the Sigma 90mm f2.8. Now, if you can throw in another $1,000, I say that like it's super easy, I know $1,000 is a lot, but if you can throw in another $1,000, I do highly recommend the A7CR over the A7C Mark II because it has more resolution and slightly better video capabilities. And this would be my number 2 favorite camera of all time. Until that is, I get the RX1R Mark III. Now, before I jump into the best cinema camera and the best Sony camera of all time, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Oh no, my laptop is dying! My camera's also dying! My phone is also dying! Somebody please save me!
Don't worry, I got the Anker Prime Power Bank, the industry-leading 300-watt multi-port fast-charging power bank from their flagship line.
Stop trying to sell me and start saving my devices!
Whew, looks like we made it just in time.
Oh, thank goodness.
A single USB-C power can deliver up to 140 watts of fast charging. So with the two USB-C ports, we can charge both of his laptops close to 280 watts, and with the remaining 20 watts, we can charge his iPhone with the USB-A. See how when I plug his phone in, the Anker Prime Power Bank intelligently reroutes power instantly to it, so that ensures that every device here gets the fastest charging it can handle.
And I've also got the world's most compact 160-watt multi-port charger.
So when it's time to recharge Anker Prime itself, you can use both USB-C ports to dual charge it, and in 13 minutes we'll get roughly 50% of power back. That's about the time it takes for Jason to brew a cup of coffee. You can also remotely monitor the Anker Prime via Bluetooth using the mobile app so that you can keep track of metrics such as input-output power, temperature, etc. You'll also need the app too to flash future firmware updates.
Wait, that thing needs a firmware update?
Yeah, Anker's always optimizing their products to ensure that we get the best performance.
Makes sense to me.
This has insane capacity, making it the perfect travel companion, even on flights, for power-hungry users like Jason.
You really saved me.
And we can save you some money. Limited time discounts are coming for Anker's new products. Check out the link below to learn more.
Let's roll. Thank you so much for listening. Now back to the video.
The best cinema camera.
For now. I would say, if you can wait, just wait. I think the FX3 Mark II is coming out in 2026. I don't know exactly when next year. I don't have any insider information. I promise you that. They didn't tell me anything. I don't know anything. But come on, they are due for an update by now. Plus, a lot of the other camera brands out there are putting a lot of pressure on Sony right now because they're coming out with their own cinema cameras, and it's really, really good. So the FX3 Mark II better freaking slap. But also, just to temper some expectations here, we might not even see the FX3 Mark II until mid to the end of 2026. Now, if you really can't wait, the FX3 Mark I right now is still really good. This is the best compact full-frame low-light cinema camera. Actually, let me scratch out compact. We'll come back to that in just a bit. But the FX3 beats out the FX30, which uses a smaller APS-C sensor, and it also beats out the newest FX2. Now, even though that camera is also a full-frame camera, in order to shoot 4K 60p, you're forced into an APS-C crop. So then what's even the point of getting a full-frame camera? Therefore, the FX3 is the best in this category by a huge milestone. Otherwise, for something slightly less expensive, but also super comparable, that is going to be the A7S Mark III, because it uses the same exact sensor, but obviously, no fan, but there are a few UI differences, such as the lack of the Big 6 menu and built-in anamorphic D-squeeze. However, if you plan on using a monitor anyways, like an Atomos Ninja, or even your phone, you can largely curb this issue. So, either you wait, or you get the FX3, but if you need to save some money, get the A7S Mark III. And now, it is time for me to share my #1 favorite Sony camera of all time. We, of course, still need to talk about objectively the best of the best Sony camera that you can buy today. But I think right now is the right time for me to share my personal, unfiltered, Vong opinion of what I truly believe and biasly think is the best.
The Vong's favorite camera.
The Sony ZV-E1. The tiniest, lightest, interchangeable lens full-frame camera that shares the same exact low-light sensor as the FX3 and the A7S III for $15,000 to $2,000 less. We're getting the same freaking camera for $15,000 to $2,000 less. Holy cheese balls! Let me compose myself. It does 4K up to 120 frames per second with 10-bit 422 S-Log3 and S-Cinetone, but in a discrete package. It has been an incredibly popular camera in the cinematic community in the last few years for that sole reason. Couple of downsides that may seem like big deal breakers, but they're not. It's only 12 megapixels, so kind of low for photos, but honestly, it's more than enough for social media. It's also not a very good long-running endurance camera, so if you're filming an hour-long podcast, then don't even bother with this. Get the FX3 instead, because this will overheat if you try to shoot 4K longer than 20-minute plus. While this was marketed as a vlogging camera initially, I personally think this has been grossly mislabeled in my opinion, and what it should have been marketed as is the best compact full-frame low-light cinema camera of all time. Sony ZV-E1. You can't go wrong with Jason Vong. Freaking love this camera. So freaking good. Okay, let's talk objectively and unbiasedly now.
The best of the best.
Rip your wallet and rip your marriage. Ignoring budget, balls deep, cheeks wide spread. The best Sony camera you can buy today boils down to two options. The A1 Mark II and the A9 Mark III. Both $7,000 full-frame cameras.
Expensive.
It breaks my heart to say this. As a proud A1 Mark II user, even I got to admit the A9 Mark III is the best camera of all time. Simply because of the global shutter. You see, with the A9 Mark III, you could literally shoot with a speed light at max power with any shutter speed on the camera in broad daylight, and you can still properly light your subject with the background properly exposed. In camera. Like, you wouldn't understand if you've never used flash before, but this has been game-changing in the wedding and portrait and fashion industry. I mean, yeah, sure, it's 24 megapixel only as opposed to the 51 megapixel of the A1 Mark II here, but it is enough. And I am incredibly bummed that the A1 Mark II does not have global shutter. Why don't you have global shutter? And it's because of that reason alone makes the A9 Mark III the most versatile camera ever made, because you can literally shoot anything, anytime, anywhere, including wildlife and sports, thanks to its 120 frames per second raw burst photography up to 1 second of pre-capture. Like, Jeebus Christ, you would never miss a shot. So the A9 Mark III gets the Vong's undying respect until 2027, when we have to do this list all over again. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Vong out.
Peace.